Miracle Monday, niemand weiß, was da kommt. Die Überraschung ist klar. Miracle Monday, dann kommt voll bumm und flasht euch sogar. Der Erdmännchenbau ist ein sicherer Ort. Lehnt euch zurück, legt die Füße hoch, lasst die Gedanken schweifen, sie tragen euch fort. Der Tag ist vorbei, nur die paar Stunden noch. Miracle Monday, niemand weiß, was da kommt. Die Überraschung ist klar, die Überraschung ist klar. Miracle Monday, das Programm folgt und flasht euch sogar. Der Erdmännchenbau ist ein sicherer Ort. Lehnt euch zurück, legt die Füße hoch, lasst die Gedanken schweifen, sie tragen euch fort. Der Tag ist vorbei, nur die paar Stunden noch. Erdmännchenbau ist ein sicherer Ort. Lehnt euch zurück, legt die Füße hoch, lasst die Gedanken schweifen, sie tragen euch fort. Der Tag ist vorbei, nur die paar Stunden noch. Jetzt genießt den Stream und die schöne Zeit, so schaltet man ab, der Kopf wird frei. Dann ist man stets bereit für den nächsten Tag, den Tag Nummer 2. Yeah! Der Erdmännchenbau ist ein sicherer Ort. Lehnt euch zurück, legt die Füße hoch, lasst die Gedanken schweifen, sie tragen euch fort. Der Tag ist vorbei, nur die paar Stunden noch. Jetzt genießt den Stream und die schöne Zeit, so schaltet man ab, der Kopf wird frei. Dann ist man stets bereit für den nächsten Tag, den Tag Nummer 2.
Ins Wild, was TikTok hier wieder für Sachen macht. TikTok schränkt mich ein, weil mein Content angeblich nicht für alle Leute geeignet ist. Ich habe noch gar nichts gemacht. Ganz cool. Witzige Angelegenheit. So. Wie gesagt, also ja. Wie im Titel schon drin steht, wir testen heute ein paar Demos. Ich habe jetzt erstmal mir gesagt, ihr fangt jetzt einfach mal an mit der Sherlock Holmes Demo Night Stalker oder Nachtjäger im Deutschen. Aber es noch kein Deutsch gibt. Das Spiel habe ich tatsächlich auf der Gamescom gesehen. Und das Spiel soll angeblich so sein, dass es mit KI funktioniert und du Fragen und Texte, Dialoge angeblich, zumindest irgendwann, frei formulieren kannst und die KI beantwortet das. Ich bin gespannt, wie weit sie damit sind. Wir gucken mal rein. Loading. Es geht also um den Hund von Baskerville. Watson is waiting at the door. Ja, S und D, ja. Okay, und mit rechter Maustaste. Okay, verstehe. Und jetzt können wir mit Watson reden. Hallo, Watson.
Hey, Sherlock, over here. It's good to see you. Dying to hear what kept you. Some grand case, no doubt. But this is Baskerville Manor, with its cursed reputation. These folks need you more. Go on then. Tell me if you find anything amiss. And for God's sake, be careful.
Es ist tatsächlich so. Ich kann hier unten einen freien Text eingeben. Cool.
Ah, Sherlock. Good evening. You seem in fine spirits tonight. I was just about to pen a few notes about the day's events, but your arrival is far more stimulating than any solitary reflection could be. Tell me, have you deduced anything from Lestradi's interviews in the drawing room yet? Or perhaps you have a new suspicion brewing in that spectacular mind of yours?
Cool. Okay. Da ich eigentlich gerade überhaupt keinen Plan habe, was ich mit dem reden soll, schaue ich mich erstmal um. Aber wie cool ist das bitte? Ich kriege eigentlich überhaupt keinen Dialog vorgegeben. Nein, ich kann einen freien Text eingeben. Wo war denn die Katze jetzt? Friedhof. Gut. Ich kann halt ernsthaft einen freien Text eingeben. LOL. Ein Problem habe ich noch. Kann ich das ändern? Also erstmal speichern. Nur für den Fall. Und zwar, ich rutsche ja immer mit der Maus raus. Das ist schlecht. Ich habe hier eine Maus, das seht ihr ja. Und wenn ich jetzt hier aber zu weit links oder zu weit rechts gehe.
Hey, Sherlock, over here.
Hey, Sherlock.
It's good to see you. Dying to hear what kept you. Some grand case, no doubt. But this is Baskerville Manor, with its cursed reputation. These folks need you more. Go on then. Tell me if you find anything amiss. And for God's sake, be careful.
Cool. Was heißt denn obtain Watsons Clue? Frag mal ihn doch direkt, wie es da oben steht. Was hat er denn die letzten Tage so rausgefunden?
Well, Sherlock, as your ever diligent assistant, I've been prowling the corridors and grounds of Baskerville Hall like a restless hound chasing a scent. No dramatic revelations yet, much as I'd love to present you with a silver bullet of evidence right now. But I did notice something curious a few nights ago. First, lights flickered on the west side of the estate. Not your usual candlelit stroll. Then I spotted Barrymore, the ever-dutiful but slightly nocturnal butler, sneaking out through the side gate after dark. His purpose? A mystery thick as the Dartmoor fog. I attempted to follow, but my stealth is not as legendary as yours, Sherlock. As for suspects, I must confess the plot is as tangled as my morning hair too, soon to cast guilt or wild suspicion. We might be dealing with something more than mere happenstance. What do you make of such midnight wanderings? Think I ought to buy myself a better pair of boots for all this roaming. Inspector Lestrade is on the first floor questioning Dr. Truman about some case details now. You might as well go and take a look.
Dann tun wir doch mal. Dann taken wir doch mal a look. Gehen wir erstmal rein, würde ich sagen. So, ich soll mit Lestrade reden und mit Truman. Aha. Hier wird also nochmal alles zusammengefasst. Was haben wir hier? Oh, ja. Wie cool. Uff, das ist ja übel komplex, das Spiel. Ach Gott. Alter, ist das komplex. Uff. A set of potion bottles neatly arranged in a box. The bottles were clean and bore no labels. Half of them were empty, while the other half contained a colorless liquid. Bringing them close, one could detect a sharp, medical smell reminiscent of rubbing alcohol. Verstehe. Kann ich den Schlüssel mitnehmen? Nee. Wo ist meine Maus da? Ein kaputter Teller. Mehrere kaputte Teller. Ja, hat ein Kampf stattgefunden. Noch ein Schlüssel. Latest news. A copy of the Daily Telegraph dated November 21st. Past several days, the Baskerville Manor case had a dominated the pages. The high contrast black text on the white paper reported the police's latest developments. None at all except that the Scotland Yard had begun to intervene. It seems that even without the breakthrough in the truth, they were confident enough to report it. Lass mal mit Inspector Lestrade reden. Hallo.
Well, isn't this our great Sherlock Holmes? Ha! Can't investigate anywhere without running into you. Eh? What a small world.
Give me some updates about the case, please.
Well, Holmes, you finally decided to follow my lead. The case stands thus. Charles Baskerville was found dead in the moor at around 8 o'clock on the evening of the 14th. Corpse spotted by none other than his ever-dutiful butler, Barrymore. He's the one who raised the alarm, too. Quite the loyal sort, I'll say. Initial evidence points straight towards heart failure. No blood, no wounds, no sign of a struggle. Classic, if you ask a seasoned London officer like myself. Still, if you want the nitty-gritty, Truman the doctor's right here. He'll give you the medical jargon. Frankly, Holmes, I've seen plenty like this, but folks around here spin tales of curses faster than a pub spins ale. Ha! Anything else you need? Just asks, though. Don't expect miracles. The devil's in the details. Or perhaps in the more mist. Got any clever ideas of your own? Or just here to soak up my wisdom?
Truman.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. You look weary and travel-worn. Care of yourself if you wish to live a long life. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, amusing. Though I suspect the late Sir Charles would have needed more than fruit against the shadows of Dartmoor.
Cool.
Regarding the autopsy, cause of death was sudden cardiac failure, specifically myocardial ischemia triggered by extreme fright. There were no external injuries, no evidence of toxin, nor signs of struggle. He died abruptly, likely at the height of terror. If such wisdom as yours were universal, perhaps my practice would be less crowded. However, the facts remain unchanged.
Cool. Der geht ja tatsächlich darauf ein, was ich gesagt habe. Wie cool ist das denn? Nee, raus diesmal gerade nicht. Ja, genau das ist das, was ich vermeiden wollte. Nämlich... So, jetzt. Ein Familienporträt. Photographs are spread that area, reflecting the Baskerville family's emphasis on their members. However, how many of those pictures are still alive today and then is another story. Okay. So. Wo ist Mortimer? Ist Mortimer oben? Guest room on the third floor. Ein Vergrößerungsglas. Ein essential tool for einen Detective. Klar, das nehmen wir einfach mal mit. Ist ja nicht so, als ob ich Sherlock Holmes wäre, der eigentlich eins dabei haben müsste. Weil ich ja Sherlock Holmes bin. Hallo. Ja, das ist noch nicht so ganz gut. Was? Study of Demonic? Several occult texts were spread across the desk, containing accounts related to exorcism and demonic possession on the animals. The poor new baronet was trying by another means to find clues about the demonic hound. Oh, der dämonische Hund. Noch ein Vergrößerungsglas. Oh, was haben wir hier? An old worn medal. Quietly standing on a desk once used by Sir Charles. It seemed to have been there for a long time, symbolizing the enduring glory of the Baskerville family through the generations. Gut. Ich nehme aber mal an, entsprechend ist das hier wohl nicht das Gästezimmer. Das Licht anmachen? Nö. Henry Baskerville. Dem muss ich eigentlich noch nicht reden. Zumindest nicht laut Quest. New Testament. A copy of the New Testament showing signs of age, yet the bookmark inside looked brand new. This suggests that someone had recently been seeking redemption within the Messiah's words. Ja, mit Henry reden wir nachher. Entschuldigung, ich suche eigentlich Mortimer. Mortimer unten. Ach ja, ist ja England. First Floor ist ja hier. Dann ist das Gästezimmer. James Mortimer. Novels of Baskerville. An extremely vintage-looking storybook, dusted of its cover, revealed the title Novels of Baskerville. Strangely, there was no author name or other publication information. The page edges were yellowed and creased, tracing the old history of the Baskerville family, making it an unremarkable antique. Outline chronology. A book published earlier this year, prominently bearing Dr. Mortimer's name on the cover. The introduction lists numerous classic cases in craniology, such as identifying murderers throughout hereditary skull characteristics within families. So, Mr. Mortimer hat ein Buch geschrieben. Ich verstehe, Mr. Mortimer. Find out what he's doing at the time of the incident and ask about his relationship with Sir Charles. Okay.
How delighted I am to see you, my old friend Holmes. With your arrival as promised, my worries for the Baskerville family's future have lifted. A man of your wisdom and reliability will surely resolve this matter. Ah, Mr. Holmes, I do appreciate your thoroughness, although the gravity of these questions gives me a certain pause to be absolutely clear. On the evening of the 14th, following supper, I remained in my laboratory, overseeing my students as they conducted pathological experiments. We worked late into the night. One might say time seemed to dissolve in the pursuit of medical knowledge. Should you wish, my students can confirm every minute of my presence, as punctuality and precision are, I trust, among my more reliable qualities. Only in the earliest hours of the next morning did the dreadful news of Charles's fate reach me. And since then, I have done little but strive for answers and offer what assistance I can. As the poet said, the weight of calamity falls hardest upon those with tender memories. May I ask, do you sense a contradiction in my account? Or is there another detail you wish me to elaborate on? Sir Charles and I shared the bond of many years. One might even call it a friendship tempered by time itself. Enduring the seasons and trials of Dartmoor, I frequented Baskerville Hall often, sought both his company and conversation, and regularly discussed matters both medical and personal, never suspecting that fate would so cruelly intervene. His sudden loss has weighed heavily upon me as old companions vanish like the evening mist. Such tragedy leaves a bruise upon the heart. Is there something specific about our friendship that you believe crucial to your investigation? I am prepared to assist in any way you deem necessary. I'm willing to fully cooperate with your investigation, Mr. Holmes. If you want to gather more clues, why not head to the second floor? Sir Henry is there.
Okay. Merke ich mir. Jetzt hole ich mir mal von Sir Henry ein paar Hinweise. Das ist total cool. Ah ne, falsch. Sir Henry.
A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Holmes. Recent events have been tormenting me, but with you here, I can finally breathe easier. Whatever you need during your stay, just ask Barrymore. We'll do our best to accommodate you. Of course, I also hope you'll keep me updated on the investigation.
Was? Unusual. Unusual. Ja, so. So cool. Die KI reagiert auf das, was ich sage.
Oh, Mr. Holmes. Actually, just last night I encountered something truly unsettling. After dinner, I was taking my usual evening walk. When I returned to my room, I found rather inexplicably the new boot which had gone missing while I was in London. Mind you, it appeared in my room with a note made of cut-out letters from a newspaper, reading, "Go back to London." It seemed a threat of sorts. I cannot help but shudder at the thought. Whoever orchestrated this must know my habits intimately, for they managed to place the boot in my private quarters. The notion that someone could slip unseen about the house unsettles me greatly. Does this align with any pattern you have observed in your investigations, Holmes? Ah, yes. Dr. Mortimer, he is indeed a steadfast friend. I'd say his devotion to my late Uncle Charles was known to all. You know, Holmes, certain friendships, weather the harshest of storms. I'm not entirely sure if this is what you're driving at, but I haven't any reason to doubt Mortimer's sincerity or his intentions. Are you suggesting he could be entangled in something more sinister? Your questions always seem to peel back layers I never realized were there. Holmes? That's rather troubling to hear. I must admit, Barrymore's behavior has been somewhat secretive of late. After my walk last evening, I wanted to have a word with him about the mysterious boot, but he was nowhere to be found. It begs the question, who else could access my chambers so freely? I am beginning to suspect Barrymore knows more than he lets on. Still, I hesitate to cast serious accusations without direct evidence. Perhaps he's hiding something, but is it truly connected with my uncle's death? Your sharp eyes seem to catch what might have missed. Do you think it prudent to confront Barrymore directly, or should we observe him further?
Was ist damit?
Mr. Holmes, you never cease to surprise me. Potion bottles, you say? How? Curious. They're certainly well kept, though I must confess the sharp scent is quite potent, almost medicinal. Forgive me, but may I ask, is there a particular use you have in mind for these? Or perhaps a deduction behind their purpose? You intrigue me, as always. I am not well versed in the apothecary's arts, but if they might aid your investigation, I'll gladly set them aside for your study.
Interessant. Nee, nicht Sir Henry, Sir Charles.
Sir Charles was my uncle, Mr. Holmes. When I was a boy, I spent some time at Baskerville Hall, but afterward, I relocated to Scotland and haven't seen him in many years. Our correspondence was infrequent, I'm ashamed to say. Now, with him gone, I realize how little I truly knew of the man behind the family legend.
Oh, jetzt habe ich den Blößen gegeben. Ups. Unlock Barrymore's Heart. Jetzt muss ich mit Barrymore reden. Wo ist der im Basement? Wo ist der ins Basement? Entschuldigen Sie, wo ist denn das Basement? Wie komme ich denn ins Basement? Mr. Watson, können Sie mir sagen, wo ich das Basement finde?
It's been a week since I had accompanied Sir Henry back to the manor. Today's certainly brought the most visitors. Convenient for questioning everyone involved. A Sherlock? Ah, Sherlock. Always straight to the point. The basement, you say? I must admit, exploring musty cellars isn't quite my idea of evening entertainment, but it does have a certain thrill, doesn't it? As far as I recall from the layout, you'll find the entrance down the servants' corridor, take the left turn after the kitchen, then a stodgy little wooden door tucked behind some crates. If you get lost, Just follow the pleasant aroma of aging potatoes. Tell me, Watson leading you there, or Sherlock charging in first? Which makes more sense? Eh? Do you fancy a look below now? Or is this a clever ruse to send me before you?
Den jetzt in den Keller? Das wäre ja cool. Okay. Jetzt hat er gesagt, ich soll durch die Küche gehen. Ja. Ach, komm schon. Das Spiel ist ein bisschen kompliziert, so mit Maus und so. Oder ich nehme einfach diesen Kellereingang. Entschuldigung. Creepy Puppen. Mr. Barrymore. Keeping detailed records of daily tasks was also part of the butler's duties. Upon comparison, the timeline before and after the incident aligns with his statement to the inspector. Additionally, one entry notes that starting the day after Henriette returned to the estate, extra refreshments were prepared daily for entertaining. Mr. Barrymore. A tight-bound bundle contains several pieces of old clothing and a single portion of food, casually placed by the butler on the low bench at the foot of his bed. Notably, while the clothing was of an old style, every detail of the fabric and tailor was meticulously crafted. Many of the pieces had cufflinks engraved with the letters HB, highlighting their special connection to the owner. Mr. Barrymore?
Ah, you must be the great detective. Master Henry's been eagerly awaiting your arrival. I'm the butler of this estate, please. Don't hesitate to let me know if you need anything. As for the matter concerning Master Charles, we're counting on your thorough investigation.
So, was soll ich fragen? About wherever he knows anything about regarding the anonymous letter and the boots mentioned by Sir Henry. Anonymous.
Detective, sir, I must say, I've absolutely no knowledge regarding that anonymous letter. As far as yesterday evening, after supper, my activities were strictly limited to tidying up the estate. If there was any such note circulating, it certainly did not cross my hands nor my sight. Mysterious correspondence seems to be rather frequent lately, perhaps too frequent for my taste. You know, Dot, if there's a plot afoot, I assure you, it does not originate with this humble steward. Odd tidings are like dust, best swept away quickly, lest they gather and cloud one's judgment. Have you considered someone outside the household might be stirring trouble? I wonder, Have any other suspicious items been found in Henry Sir's quarters? Sometimes, mischief leaves multiple footprints. Detective Sir, I confess, this accusation does feel rather awkward. Frankly, I have no knowledge of Henry Sir's footwear arrangements, or this mysterious letter found stuffed inside his boot. It's true last night, after dinner, I was busily dusting and checking the manners rooms. The estate is vast, and sometimes one's path does not icily cross with Sir Henry's. Especially in these anxious times, Dot. As for my alleged absence, I can only say my duties kept me indoors. If Sir Henry returned and could not immediately find me, it is a matter of unfortunate timing, nothing more. I swear on my years of service, such mischief is not the sort of thing I'd ever trifle with. A good name is better than riches, as the scripture says. Would a man risk his honor for a petty prank? Surely, sir, you must see the reason in that. Let me ask, has anyone inquired about the local servants? Sometimes, in great houses, footsteps echo where one least expects. Detective, sir, Lestradi's findings are indeed accurate regarding the dreadful night. It was I who first found poor Sir Charles lying in the marsh and promptly alerted the authorities. Heart failure was understood to be the immediate cause, so sudden, yet so tragic. I must say, slipping from routine stewardship into such grim business is not what I consider agreeable. The manor ought to be filled with the warmth of order, not the icy chill of tragedy. Should you require further details, I am at your service, though I trust my account remains unchanged. I acted only as any loyal servant would in such a circumstance. Tell me, have the inspector's theories shifted since then, or do they remain steadfast? Detective, sir, it seems my evening rounds have drawn rather pointed attention. I assure you, the flickering lights and my venture through the side door were nothing more than the actions of a diligent caretaker. The security of the manor, especially given recent events, demands thorough inspection after dark. Strange shadows in old houses often play tricks on anxious minds. Not everything that glitters is gold. Sometimes a lamp simply needs adjusting. Nothing more. I am sorry my movements appeared suspicious to Dr. Watson, but it was only my duty at work. Do you suspect something more nefarious behind a mere check of locks and windows? Or is the marsh calling you with secrets yet untold?
Sus.
Detective, sir, such findings are most uncomfortable to hear. To think Sir Charles could be frightened to death chills the blood. Truly, no wound, no sign of struggle, simply a good man felled by terror itself. As a man who has served this family many years, the notion unsettles me greatly. I hope you find answers beyond mere rumor, for the house whispers more than it speaks. Do you suspect the source of his fright rests within this manor, or the old legends that haunt it? If I may, how will you confront the unseeable? Sometimes, fear leaves deeper scars than any blade. Ah, Detective, sir, I must say, Mortimer's loyalty to Sir Charles was unquestionable. Those two were akin to old oak trees, sheltering one another against many a storm, if I may. I've witnessed their camaraderie over countless years, always genuine, never fractured. Indeed. Dr. Mord was a frequent presence here, a man of upright spirit and steadfast allegiance. If he expresses concern, It springs not from idle curiosity, but heartfelt devotion. What is it you seek, sir? Are you hoping to uncover a hidden shadow beneath their friendship, or merely gathering all the threads as a prudent man should? Detective, sir, well, Dr. Maud's whereabouts seem to be well accounted for. Then, with all the laboratory staff present, his timeline appears as precise as a railway schedule. Discrepancy to cast a shadow dotted his oils. Reassuring when a gentleman's business is so well attested. Perhaps then, the threads you follow must run elsewhere in this web of mystery. May I ask? Do you find such certainty satisfying, or does it sharpen your hunger for contradictions all the more? Detective, sir, on the evening in question, I behaved as I do every day attending to the estate, ensuring all is in proper order. At dusk, just shy of 6 o'clock, I saw Sir Charles elegantly dressed, cane in hand, departing the house in what looked to be an appointment. I did not leave the house. I was preoccupied with preparing supper in the kitchens. Sir Charles failed to return at his usual hour for bed. As midnight approached, worry compelled me to search about with help, leading to our grim discovery in the moor. A routine night, shattered by tragedy. I could not have anticipated such darkness to fall. Detective, sir, I must confess, perhaps I truly have no one to stand as witness for my whereabouts at the hour in question. It would not serve your investigation or my own conscience to fabricate evidence where none exists. My wife, who sometimes aids me in the kitchens, happened to be away visiting family that very evening. Thus, the supper was left to my hands alone. I assure you, I was not near the moor until much later. When I led the search, is it not a cruel jest that sometimes, in the hours we most need company, solitude clings closest? Detective, sir, well, as you see, the sequence of Sir Henry's movements is well documented, hardly leaves room for ambiguity, does it? My own activities, in contrast, seem rather solitary. It is a peculiar sort of discomfort, being unable to call upon a solid witness. Still, I trust you will judge the matter as only a master of deduction can. Though isolated on that evening, my intentions were always earnest and loyal to the family. Is your suspicion deepened, or have you simply ticked another box on your list?
Das gefällt mir alles noch nicht.
Detective, sir. Indeed, as my testimony reads, I was occupied with cleaning the manor on the evening in question. The house is not a modest cottage, but quite the labyrinth, easy enough, I assure you, for two men to miss one another whilst tending to their duties. If some see mischief in a missed encounter, I can only say that fate delights in such little ironies. Even in houses built by careful hands, chance meddles with the best of intentions. As my mother used to say, if you believe otherwise, Might you propose just how I ought to prove my presence among dusters and candle snuffers? Detective, sir. My connection to Sir Charles runs deep. My family has served the Baskerville household for generations. I myself have been the estate's steward for more years than I care to count. With Sir Charles, it was not merely duty that bound me, but sincere loyalty. He relied upon me for all manner of affairs, from household accounts to personal confidences. Even now, with Sir Henry as the new master, my pledge remains unchanged. Should order and dignity grace Baskerville Hall, a good measure of it springs from my devotion. A faithful steward is the backbone of a noble house. As I always say, Dot, is there some particular quality you wish to know, sir? Or do you suspect that such loyalty may hide another face? Detective, sir. I must admit it puts me rather on the spot to discuss Sir Henry's boots. Truth be told, I am quite unaware of the matter how his footwear came and went, or how a mysterious letter found its way inside. Yesterday evening, following supper, I was thoroughly engaged in cleaning the estate. The manor's size and its many corners can lead to all manner of coincidence. But as to the reappearance of a lost boot in Sir Henry's room or any peculiar notes, I have not the faintest knowledge. It seems troubles multiply in these halls like dust on a neglected shelf. If you suspect the stuff, I recommend speaking with every footman and maid. Strange things have their way of slipping in, even where all seems in order. Might the solution be simpler than it first appears? Or does the plot thicken with every step? Detective, sir. Well, you might say, the air about Baskerville Hall has been rather thick with peculiar happenings lately. Sir Charles's death, the whisperings of a curse, Sir Henry's boots disappearing and reappearing, anonymous letters. It's enough to unsettle even the most steadfast spirit, wouldn't you say? If any more oddities crop up, I'd wager even the candle sconces would start gossiping. Still, I endeavored to keep things in order, though. Fate does seem a masterful jester. Is it your impression, sir, that trouble seeks out old houses as surely as dust finds corners?
Mir fehlen hier immer noch ein paar Dinge.
Detective sir, thank you for clarifying their relationship. Sir Henry is indeed Sir Charles's nephew. The blood between them is as sure as the stone of Baskerville Hall itself. Their acquaintance was brief during Sir Henry's childhood, and afterward, correspondence between the two came to a halt. Still, family ties, no matter how distant by time, have a curious way of drawing hearts together when misfortune strikes. Would you say, perhaps, that destiny weaves its threads tighter when the past returns to cast shadows?
Das hatten wir auch schon. Das hatten wir auch alles schon.
Detective, sir, as the timeline demonstrates, my routine on that unfortunate day was as described. I saw Sir Charles leave, stately as ever, then tended to my supper, dudist, never stepping outside again until grave concern forced me to organize a search. You must understand, detective. Solitude during such hours weighs heavily, yet I can offer no witness, merely my word and the order that I maintain. A man's honor is his shadow in daylight, though nightfall can make all things uncertain. Does this satisfy, or do you sense some threads still left unpulled? Detective, sir, indeed. The Barrymores have long been pillars beneath the Baskerville name. My father, and his father before him, all bore the same responsibility with pride. Sir Charles was not merely my employer, he was the cornerstone of this estate and the reason order reigned within its walls. Even now, my service to Sir Henry is steadfast. A steward's duty endures, regardless of master or misfortune. As I always say, heritage binds, loyalty defines. Is there more you wish to know of our history, or does the past simply serve as backdrop to your inquiry? Detective, sir. I have served here since my younger days, why, it must be well over 3 decades now. Baskerville Hall has been home and purpose for most of my life. A well-worn key fits its door best, I say, and so my hand remains steady on this estate's locks and ledgers. I trust that such seniority speaks both to my loyalty and my understanding of every stone and shadow within these halls. Would you care for a tale or two from the earlier years? The manor keeps many more stories than these recent troubles. Detective, sir. How marvelous. Baskerville tales. You say what a treasure? Indeed. The sight of those gilt letters stirs something noble in the heart, for within those pages are the roots of all we know here. Such a collection, lacking author and date, lends even greater mystique to its stories. Our family lore, our secrets, our legends preserved with the dust of years. If you've an eye for mysteries, perhaps these tales will offer more shadow than light. If you care to discuss what you find there, you shall have my keenest attention. May every tale be a lantern in the fog, as the saying goes. Will you investigate the stories within? Or do you seek a particular legend whispered through Baskerville Hall? Detective, sir. Such texts do unsettle a man's nerves, I confess. Research on demons and exorcisms. It appears Sir Henry has grown gravely anxious, enough to entertain these dark alternatives. Where superstition finds a crack, reason struggles not to tumble, as the old housekeeper once whispered. Occult matters are best left to clergymen or scholars, not for gentlemen of Baskerville Hall. Still, Perhaps shadows spread so wide these days that even the most rational seek comfort in peculiar explanations. Do these tomes trouble you? Or does your investigation simply require touching every corner of darkness before daybreak returns?
Ich weiß gerade nicht so richtig, was ich ihn fragen soll.
Detective, sir, I well may have seemed uneasy, but it is not from dishonesty. Rather, the gravity of recent events weighs heavily with every recollection of Sir Charles's habits. He did favor evening walks, especially along the garden path towards the moor gate. Some days, it seemed these strolls brought him solace. Other nights, a certain apprehension clung to his manner. There are whispers that Sir Charles would pause at the gate, as if waiting for someone nor something. I dared not presume his motive, but worry often shadowed his eyes in those hours. If there's something more you suspect about his routines, perhaps a detail I've overlooked will come to mind under your keen questioning. Detective, sir. To be candid, I cannot say for certain just how long Sir Charles would linger at that gate each evening. Some nights, it felt as though he waited there for a considerable stretch. Longer than any casual stroll would require, perhaps 10, 15 minutes, sometimes even more. He seemed restless. Scanning the darkness beyond that, it troubled me. For such behavior was not usual in his earlier years. If I may be honest, I sometimes feared he anticipated a visitor or maybe dreaded one. Is this detail helpful, sir? Or does it only deepen the shadows you are chasing? Detective, sir? It began only in the months before his passing. Sir Charles grew noticeably more anxious after dusk, as if something unseen called to him from the night. I observed this change, but dared not question him. A man's worries are often his own, especially when shaped by old legends. Would you consider it strange for a gentleman to alter his routine so suddenly? Or do you suspect he had reason, rooted in more than just superstition?
Oh, Item Clues. Dann frage ich ihn nochmal danach.
Detective, sir, I see you have found the parcel. I admit, its presence is my doing. The garments belong to my family matter, I assure you, a private concern. The initials are indeed my own, marking these as property of my household. If you suspect anything untoward, I can only say family obligations sometimes require discretion. The manner demands order, but my loyalties are not so simply divided. Is it your wish to know further details, sir? Or does this discovery simply stir up more questions? Detective, sir, oh, such headlines do amuse, and not always in the gentlest manner. It appears the press fancies progress where all they truly have is a parade of words and speculation. Confidence sells more papers than the truth these days. as my father used to say with a sigh, I might add. Scotland Yard's involvement sounds grand in print, yet the halls here are no less shadowed for it. I wonder, sir, do you put much weight in the newsman's proclamations? Or do you prefer the quiet honesty of dust and footprints? Detective, sir. That night did cast a peculiar pall over the manor. Yes, I noticed a chill in the air sharper than any frost. And perhaps it's just nerves. There seemed to be a strange stillness about the house, as if every clock paused with Sir Charles's footsteps. Yet, if you seek a particular anomaly, I recall no visitors, no odd noises inside, only the sense that Sir Charles was troubled in ways he did not speak aloud. Admitting such, I confess my nerves do fray more easily. Now, Dot, is it your instinct that darkness often clings closest, where one expects the least?
Ich glaube, ich muss noch irgendwie mehr rausfinden. Ich muss ihn noch irgendwas fragen oder auf irgendwas Besonderes ansprechen, was ich einfach noch nicht weiß. Was zur Hölle bist du denn? Warum stehst du hier rum? Warum steht das hier rum? Ist auch immer wieder die Rede von irgendwelchen Footprints am Kamin. Da habe ich noch gar nicht nachgeguckt. Der ist doch hier. Das sind keine Footprints. Das sind keine Fußabdrücke am Kamin.
Have you spoken with Sir Henry yet? Did he share anything important with you?
Oh, das sagt er gar nicht, oder? Er redet gar nicht. Ihr redet nicht mehr. Warum? Hm. Mann. Wo war ich jetzt? Hier. Ja. Vielleicht kann der mir ja irgendwas sagen, was mir zufällig weiterhilft. Vielleicht weiß er ja irgendwas, womit ich Mr. Barrymore unter Druck setzen kann. Deswegen gucken wir jetzt gerade mal kurz. So. His manner, when questioned, sometimes grows defensive, and I have noticed the way his eyes flicker much as a candle before it gutters out. If only he would embrace Condor, yet correcting the truth from reluctant lips is a delicate operation, rather like persuading a bashful patient to admit his symptoms. Perhaps, tough, forgive me if I venture too badly, a pointed but not unfriendly inquiry about the events before Sir Charles' death, with reference to the time at the gate, might yield something. Or, to quote a useful phrase, give him rope that he may hang himself, as old Dr. Wilberforce used to say. Give him rope that he may hang himself. Used to say. Holmes, can you recall if Mr. Barrymore is more forthcoming when alone rather than in company? Sometimes the trait of witness is sufficient to silence a guilty conscience. Shall we consider speaking with him separately? Ich hab doch schon mit ihm alleine geredet. Das hilft mir alles nicht. Das hilft mir alles nicht. Mr. Watson.
It's been a week since I had accompanied Sir Henry back to the manor. Today certainly brought the most visitors. Convenient for questioning everyone involved. A Sherlock?
Vielleicht weiß Watson noch irgendwas.
Mr. Barrymore? Well, he's been a long-time trusted steward of Baskerville Hall. A rather dignified fellow with a reserved manner. I must say, he looks after Sir Henry, quite well keeps everything running as smoothly as a billiard ball across Newfell. But, since you ask, there was something a touch odd few nights back. I noticed flickering lights from the west wing, and later, Barrymore sneaking out of the side courtyard quite late. Couldn't tell what he was up to. A bit peculiar, if you ask me. But as of now, I can't truly suspect him of anything without more evidence. Perhaps he's just a restless sleeper, and who am I to criticize? My own sleeping schedule is the envy of no one. Would you like me to keep a closer eye on him, Sherlock? Or is your interest piqued by other souls lurking about the moor? Your instinct rarely misses, Sherlock. If Mr. Barrymore's playing hide-and-seek with the truth, he's chosen a very risky game. As for making him talk, well, sometimes a kindly word disarms more than a sharp interrogation. Or, perhaps a casual conversation over breakfast, coffee, and bacon can loosen many lips. But be wary. Confront him too forcefully, and he may scurry tighter into his shell than a hedgehog at dusk. Why not let me try a gentle approach tonight? I'll keep my ears peeled and my notebook ready. What's your strategy, my friend? I look forward to your guidance as always. Your methods are as ingenious as ever. Of course. Sherlock, consider it done, Niall. Keep a discreet watch on Mr. Barrymore this evening. Who knows? Perhaps the night may reveal a secret or two. I'll jot down any curious behavior in my journal. After all, there's nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact. Should I share any discoveries directly? Or would you prefer a coded message slipped under your study door?
How delightfully carefree you look, Holmes. No cases to solve? What brings you here? Unlike you, I'm quite busy.
Das ist total cool. Komplett mit Text selber schreiben.
Why don't you go ask Barrymore yourself if you're so curious? Standing here pestering me won't hand you the answer on a silver platter, old chap. As far as I can tell, Barrymore Sharp smells like secret. And every time I question him, he dodges and stutters like a fox cornered by hounds. During the incident, his whereabouts are murky at best. Whenever you quiz him about what he did that night, he fidgets, claims he was inside, then hesitates over the tiniest details. Proof? Ha! Find the proof yourself, I won't do all your legwork for you. Wouldn't it be amusing if even a fancy detective like you couldn't outpace a London copper on a muddy country case? Let me warn you, Barrymore on top of my suspect list. I'm keeping a close eye, but I shan't jump to conclusions. This investigation ought to be thorough. You might want to hurry. I'm collecting clues faster than you blink dots, so? Are you going to stand here all day or get cracking on the real work?
Das hilft mir auch nicht weiter. Typ.
Mr. Holmes, perhaps you should ask Barrymore about the boots. Oh, how very awkward that is. So, Barrymore claims no knowledge of the missing boots. That's rather strange, don't you think, Mr. Holmes? He's the only one with free access to my room. I dare say these sorts of mysteries would drive even the most steadfast gentleman to distraction. It seems the boots have developed a life of their own. Appearing now, vanishing then, possibly to send me into a spiral of unease. The devil's in the details, as they say. Could this be a clue, or just another inexplicable occurrence in this cursed estate? Do you suppose someone else working closely with the household could be involved? Or do we perhaps look beyond Barrymore?
Das könnten wir Barrymore mal fragen. Wenn er der Einzige ist, der Zugang zu Henrys Zimmer hat, wieso weiß er dann nicht, wie die Schuhe verschwinden konnten? Wer hat noch Zugang zu Henrys Zimmer? Das fragen wir ihn jetzt. Mr. Barrymore!
Ah, you must be the great detective. Master Henry has been eagerly awaiting your arrival. I'm the butler of this estate. Please don't hesitate to let me know if you need anything. As for the matter concerning Master Charles, we're counting on your thorough investigation. Detective, sir. You seek precision even in the smallest things, don't you? As for the evening when Sir Henry's boots vanished, I assure you, I was within the manor the whole time, tidying up after supper. The estate is rather grand, and I suppose we might have simply missed one another in those long corridors and alcoves. As for the boots mysteriously appearing or disappearing, I confess I haven't the faintest idea how those matters came to be. My duty lies in keeping order, not in misplacing footwear. Though, admittedly, sometimes shoes seem to have a mind of their own. If only walls could speak, perhaps they'd reveal secrets that even I, the loyal housekeeper, can't fathom. But tell me, sir, have you discovered any odd traces that caught your clever eye? One never knows what curious riddles may lurk behind a locked door. Detective, sir, it does seem rather awkward for me, doesn't it? Yet, I assure you while I hold the master key, I keep to my responsibilities. I only enter Sir Henry's chamber for official duties. Never for personal reasons, and certainly not for meddling with his belongings. If the boots went missing, it is indeed mysterious. But the manor is vast, and though I have access, it doesn't mean I am always present. There might be ways for another hand clever or cunning to slip by unnoticed. Still, your suspicion is reasonable. Rest assured, I'd wager my reputation as housekeeper that I did not spirit away Sir Henry's boots. Perhaps you should consider who else might have a keen interest in the young master's affairs. Sometimes, shadows in this manner seem longer than the lantern's reach. Now, detective, have you checked for footprints or perhaps mismatched shoes leaving the estate that night? Sometimes it's the dust the culprit forgets to sweep away that reveals the truth.
Warte, was hat er gesagt? In Sir Henrys... else might have a keen interest in the young master's affairs.
That is quite the direct questions, Detective Sir. I must admit, it does put me in a tight spot. As for whom might take a particular interest in Sir Henry's well-being, and whereabouts truth be told, many have reason. There are those in the household who serve, naturally, and then there are our regular visitors. Mr. Mortimer seldom stays away long. The Stapleton siblings from the moor are often eager to call. Even Dr. Truman comes and goes, attending to the family's health and secrets. Of course, with so many eyes upon Sir Henry, it's hard to say whose gaze lingers longest for good or ill. These halls have witnessed more secrets than the pantry has loaves, if you take my meaning. But tell me, Detective, do you suspect a particular someone, or perhaps the moor itself, to hold the answer to this puzzle?
So. Ja, war das Dr. Mortimer oder? Mr. Mortimer steht hier, okay.
Oh, sir. Such matters of kinship and friendship can sometimes tangle like twine in the storeroom, to my knowledge. Sir Henry is not related by blood to Mr. Mortimer, but rather they are connected by long-standing friendship, and by Mr. Mortimer's close association with the late Sir Charles. Mr. Mortimer is more a confidant, an advisor, than a relation, a trusted friend of the family, especially held in regard for his medical opinions and concern for the estate. He often visits to check on Sir Henry's welfare, and he was the one who brought Sir Henry here from London after Sir Charles passed. That, in short, their bond is forged by loyalty and circumstance, rather than family ties. But you know, in these old houses, sometimes friendship matters as much as kinship, sometimes more. But, Detective, does their amiable relationship strike you as ordinary? Or do you find something amiss in Mr. Mortimer's attentions? Good gracious, Detective. A phonograph, you say, hidden away in our very garden. That is news to me, I assure you, by all that is orderly. I am intimately familiar with the grounds, the number of iron railings, each rose bush, and every pebble in the paths. Never have I seen a phonograph amongst our plants, nor did I ever approve such a frivolous contraption outdoors. At least, last week when I attended a trimming, there was no disc machine gathering dust. It would be most improper not to mention a dreadful bother to clean. A curious mystery, indeed. Tell me, Detective, just why would a silent phonograph linger, abandoned where song has no place? Do you suspect it has a part in the greater scheme of things? Or is someone in the manor playing a game of secrets amongst the night breezes? Detective, sir, you have quite unsettled me with this revelation. To find a gramophone suddenly appearing in the manor's courtyard, why, that is astonishing. I am charged with maintaining every brick, every blade of grass, and I pride myself on such diligence. Yet, I had seen no such device there during my last inspection not a week ago. How such an object might have found its way into our midst is beyond my understanding. Unless the winds themselves have grown cunning, someone must have placed it there with a purpose concealed. Perhaps with intent to eavesdrop or communicate in secret. So, sir, What melody do you imagine this mysterious gramophone was meant to play music or mischief? Shall we search the grounds together for the culprit behind this curious intrusion? Oh, detective, sir. Your notion is quite unexpected. The idea that a gramophone could have drawn Sir Charles to a halt at the gate sends a shiver through my thoughts, I must say. I never considered such contrivance. Were there music or some strange sound playing? Perhaps it caught his attention or unsettled him, even in the darkness. But as I said before, I had no knowledge there was ever such a device present, nor did I notice any music or disturbance that evening. It raises more questions than it answers, does it not? Who would place such a thing so discreetly? And why? Was it lure, distraction, or signal? Sometimes, in this old manor, there are more spirits than bottles, more secrets than whispers. Detective, what other clues have you unearthed around that gate? Have you found any traces, scratches, footprints, or the faint smell of something unnatural? It seems our mystery deepens by the note.
Allora. Ja. Vielleicht schaue ich mich an dem Tor nochmal um. Öffnen kann ich es offenbar nicht. Ich kann auch mit Sherlock diskutieren? Lol. Aber kann ich hier auch irgendwie... So the basement of the manor, the backyard, about whether he knows anything regarding anonymous letter in the boots mentioned by Sir Henry. The person who interacted most frequently with Sir Charles in the manor was Butler Barrymore. He was also the first to discover Sir Charles' death on the night of the incident. Go and conduct a thorough investigation of the butler. Sidequest habe ich keine. Let's grab also from his history. Der weiß noch was. Aber ich weiß nicht, wie ich das rausfinde, was er noch weiß. Wie finde ich raus, was der noch weiß? Der weiß noch was. Aber wie finde ich raus, was? Tore kann ich ja irgendwie alle nicht benutzen. Da ist die Katze. Hier ist nichts, oder? Nee.
It's been a week since I had accompanied Sir Henry back to the manor. Today certainly brought the most visitors, convenient for questioning everyone involved. A Sherlock? Ha ha! Sherlock, what a classic move. If I truly intended to mislead you, I might have chosen an invisibility cloak over my battered army boots. Alas, what you see is all you get, a rather ordinary doctor with a slightly unsteady leg and a deep regard for honest friendship. If your magnifying glass turns up anything suspicious, please do inform me. But I warn you, all you'll discover is a chronic coffee stain and a regrettable taste for cheap tobacco. Dot, by the way. Isn't it curious how you always find a way to make your assistant the prime suspect? If only for sport. You keep me on my toes. So, Sherlock, have you detected anything extraordinary yet? Or shall I continue to bask in the glory of your scrutiny?
Footprints near the window? Was für Footprint?
Ah, Sherlock, sharp as ever. The footprints near the window did catch my attention, though regrettably my skills are nowhere near your legendary observation. What struck me most was their irregular pattern, almost as if the person was hesitant or perhaps limping. And, curiously, the soil there was unusually damp, which accentuated the impressions. I made a rough sketch in my notebook, though I fear it may offend your artistic sensibilities. Would you care to examine it together? Or do you already see what my mortal eyes have missed? Truly, your presence here makes every detail worth double its weight in gold dust.
Oh, die Zeit ist abgelaufen. Krass. Autosave. Wir laden mal den Autosave. Die reden ja alle immer von Footprints. Alter, ich sehe keine Footprints. Wo zur Hölle sollen denn hier Footprints sein?